episode of Damsels After Dark. If you're new here, I'm Crystal.
And I'm Kristen.
And in our little corner of the internet, we rant, rave, obsess, love, hate on all things books.
Today is a very special episode brought to you by Crystal's genius idea. We're doing monster romances, and the first one today, this is actually the second one in our month, and it is Rock Hard Gargoyle by Maggie Mayhem.
Yeah, the name really says it all.
Right?
But, so the structure of our episodes generally are a summary, then we give our reviews, and then we dive into a spoiler section at the end, but we'll give you a warning before then.
If you want to follow along with us, our reading and review schedule will be linked in the description below.
Without further ado,
let's jump into it. Well, I have a funny story to tell. Please
share it with the class.
The past few days has been snowing pretty decent amount. Not I wouldn't say a whole bunch, but enough for a good amount to make a snowman. Or, if you're like the people in my neck of the woods, a big giant and titties.
Yeah.
And it is big.
Yeah. We're talking like 10 feet.
Yeah.
Like it is. It's so tall. We'll put a picture up so you can see it.
Yeah. It is absurd. Whoever did this really had a lot of time on their hands.
They did. And I noticed they used all of the snow in their yard
all of
it's
gone.
Snow.
All of the snow. And they had a lot of attention to detail for this.
Yes.
Like, there's veins, there's nipples, there's, like... I'm surprised they didn't take sticks and make pubes.
Oh.
Like, I'm surprised.
They got their game.
They probably just couldn't find any. But it was... Like, if this was outside their little fenced area, I've contemplated on going over there, sitting on the balls and holding the shaft.
Take a picture.
It's like this close.
That's
I wanted
so
to do it so bad. So naturally, I've taken a picture and sent it to everybody I knew because everybody had to enjoy the pleasant artistry.
Yeah, it was nice too because I got the picture and then as I was driving up here, it was like, oh my god, look, there it is.
Did you notice anything funny about the positioning of where the location is? It's near a church.
It is, yes.
A big,
is.
Like a church is right there.
I love that.
It's hilarious.
I love them. And this had to have taken all fucking day.
It had to. I don't know how they didn't do it giggling like schoolgirls.
Oh, yeah. The whole time.
Obviously, it's a bunch of guys.
100%. 100%. But the attention to detail, the work put into this, again, like, I'm not exaggerating when I say this shit's like 10 feet tall. So a ladder had to be involved here. You were, like, dead set on completing this. It had to be a whole day.
Yeah.
Situation.
They probably had nothing to do because, like, I think a lot of things were shut down at a certain point. And yeah, it's hilarious.
I love it though, and perfect introduction for our like day today.
I know because these monsters are just like
these more like smut leaning books.
Yeah.
Plus it's Valentine's Day, so they were really presenting a good-natured humor to the neighbor.
I thought it was fantastic. I couldn't stop laughing. Well, at first I was just like shocked. I was like, "Is that what I think it is?" And I'm like, "It's obviously what I think it is." And I'm like, "What's next to it? Oh, those be titties. Those are titties." So
very detailed too. Yeah, nipples and all, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
It's so great. I love it.
It's fantastic. Made my day.
Yeah. Same. Because you don't see that every day. I don't think I've ever fucking seen that in real life. Maybe online.
Not that big.
Not that big.
Like,
no.
I have seen people try and attempt where they make it like in sand. Like, on sand they'll put it on the ground.
Yeah.
Never in 3D.
Yeah.
Never 3D where you could like walk around it and admire its protruding out of the ground. Like
it would
the
be
earth
funny
itself.
If they saw our episode somehow and hey, that's my penis and titties. I love it.
Tag me in that.
Yes, please. That's my artistry right there.
Tag the artist. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, yeah. So that's a great introduction to our day. Really set it off. Before we go off.
Yeah, because these are some books to talk about.
Yeah, I was joking with Kristen before I had completed both of these books how we should do this as a tradition to read.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm not
Monster
opposed to it
romances.
because there's quite a bit of monster romances.
There are. Now, here's my reason for not, though, is I don't want to get on here because they're not great. And I don't want to get on here bashing all of these books because at the end of the day, they're bad, and I'm going to because we're going to be honest about our feelings of them. So I would hate to do that, especially since these are more like unknown books. But at the same time, it's kind of fun. to like read these books.
I tried to rate it fair enough. But I still feel like you're right in that aspect where we're being kind of a little bit too judgy and harsh. But at the same time, they're not even, which, you know, obviously if you listen to us a little bit through the episode, you'll understand why. But they're like the worst. They're like, you go get junk food, right? There's good junk food and there's bad junk food.
Yeah.
This is the bad junk food of monster romance.
You're 100% right. And there's no reason that monster romance can't be good.
Yeah, at least entertaining enough.
Yes!
Like, I mean, it did entertain me. I will give you that. I was entertained in the worst part. Like, I was, like, shamed. I was like, oh, no. Oh, no. That's where I was entertained. It was the cringe factor that entertained me. I was angry.
I was angry at one, and I was entertained at another, which was I was more accepting.
Yeah, I agree.
But I was mad at one of these.
I agree. I definitely agree with you. I hard agree, especially at the ending of one of these.
Yes.
Particularly this one.
Yeah, I was so triggered. But yeah, so I do like it as a tradition. Because, like, what else are we going to read during Valentine's Day? Or month?
Yeah, I don't want to read those very with contemporary ones.
God, no.
I can't do contemporary romances.
And I like monsters. I just need you to, like...
like them a little bit.
The worst part is that the gargoyle one was the one that we were both like, yeah, I can do a gargoyle.
Yeah.
Like in our beginning poll, and now not this gargoyle. This one I was like,
yeah, too vanilla.
Too vanilla.
I was like, how are these monster romances vanilla?
It tried to be kinky though.
It was
and I was
not.
like,
there was like one little kink factor in there, and I was like, that still isn't kinky enough to me. Sorry.
Yeah, not after some of the other stuff I've read.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyways, we jump into it. We could jump into our details later.
Yeah.
But so there's not a whole lot to these books, or well, this book in particular. Mm-hmm. So this is, I think, like 265 pages or something like that. Very short. Yeah. It's a short story. Mm-hmm. Essentially, it's about this girl. Fuck, what's her name?
Violet?
No, I think that was the Morning Glory one, right? Isn't her name Violet?
Shit,
Shelby. Her name is Shelby.
Yeah, the other one, okay, is Violet. You're right.
We read these back to back if you haven't noticed. Okay, so Shelby is a seamstress, and she lives in this world, this modern world where there used to exist this veil that protected monsters or sort of made them an illusion so that humans didn't know that they existed.
There was some wall between them, and that wall was created by a female wizard or something like that.
Yeah, witch who wanted to protect her son.
There's some elements.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah, there were some elements of the story that I was just like really interested in. I'm like, so why did we go this route?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, just really weird.
So that wall went down about 4 years ago since our current story is taking place. She's a seamstress, the main character, and she is making a dress for the wedding of the season, which is, I believe, a human to a dragon.
Which is pretty cool, too.
It's pretty cool.
A fireproof dress, by the way.
Yeah, she needs it fireproof. Yeah. And so she does this cool thing where she, like, threads... I don't want to say... Was it stainless steel or was some sort of,
it was stainless steel thread when she was putting crystals on that had fireproof, like, everything. Yeah, so it was so cool.
She made this cool-ass gown, and the wedding was taking place. She forgot something. I don't remember. The cloak to it. So she had to run to the wedding, and of course our main character was sitting on the couch with hoodie, sweats, eating some ice cream when she realized this. So when she gets there, she's not looking like she should be at a wedding. But anyways, she goes there. She has this back and forth with the gargoyle that's guarding the entrance to the wedding. But she gets let in anyways, and then she gives the bride the thing that she's missing, and she sort of just sits by and watches. And that same gargoyle comes up. They have like a little... He comes up to apologize.
Which is also so weird, which we'll get into more.
We will get into this.
Yeah. The whole thing is very weird.
They have a little thing for a minute, and then he has to go, and then they both go along their lives. But meanwhile, there's a group of wizards who want to put this wall back up. And what they're doing is they're stealing people who witches who have power in them but don't really know it or don't know how to control it. So they're kidnapping them because their plan is to use these witches to reenact this wall. Somebody attempts to kidnap her, and then so as a result of that, she gets 24-hour security put on her.
And who do you think it is?
Who do you think it is? It's the fucking gargoyle. And then so they have,
this weird back and forth with each other, that there's tension that they're trying to create in this book between them. And he gets, obviously it's called Possessive Monsters, so he gets possessive.
Yep. And that's sort of the story without giving any.
Pretty much it. You gotta pretty much go through their motions of him protecting her, being possessive, and her still trying to live her life as a seamstress. Like,
And then also the wizards who are out to get her.
Yeah.
And if they happen to get her or not. Or
Yeah.
what happens. Does she have magic? Does she not have magic? We gotta read it to find out.
But yeah, that is pretty much the summary of the book. Just so you know, it is a paranormal romance with, as if they wrote it, I didn't write this, hunky gargoyles, wild demons, evil wizards, sweet and steamy with a side of sneaky tale. Also, I just learned what HEA meant for the acronym, because HEA, which I'm starting to realize is because we do not read HEA books.
We don't. And in fact, I viscerally hate them.
Yeah.
Now that I've been reading two of them.
So apparently HEA stands for happily ever after, and I did not know. I'm like, Crystal, what does HEA mean? Because that was in the things about the book. And so when I looked it up, I was like, oh, that explains it, because we barely read HEAs. There's, even if we do get close to happy ever after, someone's usually dead. And so you can't really qualify that as a happy ending, because happy endings, people don't die.
And for my two experiences with an HEA, they're very cheesy. They're like
these are the only ones I've had.
Happy ever afters. Yeah. So it's like everything is wrapped in a beautiful pink bow at the end. And
I don't like that.
Hate that.
Yeah.
Same.
I think the only one that comes very close to an HEA that I've read is the Shepherd King duology.
Yeah.
But it still isn't, because people died. Shit's still bad in the kingdom.
And the thing with the shepherd happens at the very end without giving spoilers.
Yeah. That to me was the only reason why it was a HEA, because it still felt like it was completed. And so my definition of HEAs is everything's completed, people still die.
Yeah.
But that's not an HEA though.
No, apparently not.
So
HEA is like bow on top with sprinkles. That's an HEA.
Rainbows and sunshine. And that's practically what this is.
Like,
and it's definitely not a young adult, so.
No, this is not.
These are mature books.
I'm sorry, did it say sneaky tail action?
Yes, it did. I did say that, with a side of sneaky tail action. So that's right in the beginning of the book. So I didn't look at that.
I also didn't look at that.
So when I was reading it and I came upon the sneaky tail action, I was like, they are going to do this.
Yeah.
And that's the only kink in the book that goes outside the vanilla realm. And I still don't feel like that's kinky enough.
Yeah, because it felt like it was done vanilla-ish.
Yeah.
I don't even know, because it was also very teenagery, like what was going on.
Yeah.
So it never felt like if he had like, and this is, if he had like tied her down and like had been doing shit, maybe, but it was like it was sneaky,
it was a sneaky,
and that's what made it vanilla.
And I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either.
I was just like, this is
gross.
Yeah, I was grossed by it too. If you get into the spoilers, you'll know why.
And it wasn't because of the tail that I found it gross.
It had nothing to do with the tail being gross.
No.
Whatsoever.
No. Like, I'm fine. Okay.
But, like, why are we doing this now? Like, guys, come on.
What are we, 15? Come on.
Right?
You have a whole wing of a penthouse.
I am so disgusted by their actions.
Same.
Like,
so, yeah, Kristen,
we'll go into the ratings.
Jump into, your review or your rating.
I'd like to add to this, a friend suggested this book to us. And she suggested it based off of the cover. And, I mean, the title is called Rock Hard Gargoyle, so it's pretty funny if you think about just the title.
It's funny.
But I didn't find this book funny.
No.
So I'd like to throw that in there. So my overall reading, I try to do my best not to be too judgmental about a monster romance book. I mean, how serious could you possibly be? So I judged it based off, was there a plot? And when I mean, was there a plot, that's all I gave it, was a point for there was a plot. Because with monster romances, there usually isn't. I would assume that it's not meant to have a plot. So if they tried at least to have a little bit of a plot, I gave her a point for that. So other than that, this book would have been a 1. But because there was somewhat of a plot, and it did fit in with the possessive monster romance, and it kind of wasn't extremely horrible, uprooted.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I gave it a 2. Really, though, I wanted to give it a 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave it a 2, but it's 1.5, 2 was my fair score. And that's me not being judgmental. If I was being judgmental and being reading this based off of not being a possessive romance fucking whatever book, I would have given it a 1.
Mm-hmm.
But, so because I gave it a 2, I feel like I have to explain myself because it's a bad book. Okay? The writing isn't good. And when I say the writing isn't good, of course they're not expecting Tolkien, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying it felt like a teenager wrote this book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The way it was written, the smut was. I'll get the smut in a whole nother section. I don't want to jump the gun on that. It was too predictable. The plot was just a plot to have a plot. Like, really, I wouldn't even know why that plot existed. Mm-hmm. It was just meant so that the gargoyle could get to her. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
It was mainly to drive the story. I guess, well, that's what plot is, to drive the story. But in this case, it was purposeful just to get him to her.
And it was, like, very cliche.
Very obviously cliche. Yeah, it was like, it wasn't even trying. I guess that's what this whole book wasn't really to try, you know, I would assume. There's no real magic building system, even though she presents it in a way. And I think this is why I gave it a 1 for the plot, because the side plots, the side stories were better than the main story. Like the wall, the wizard council, like how they're trying to go and collect these women. Like the people that got taken even sounded more interesting to me than the people that were the main characters in the story. Yeah. Like, I hated the idea that I didn't understand half the story. So I'm assuming, because this is a string of books, I'm assuming that the other monsters that are part of this book will have their own story. Yeah. I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, because I think the next book in this is the story of Emily and his brother.
Okay, so that would make sense. Yeah. Because it just seems like this is like one part of a book of a bunch of other monsters that seem more interesting. So I feel like maybe that's why. Also, there's like, the world has a bunch of monsters. So I think that's practically how their world building is consisted of. It's just a bunch of monsters thrown into this book and a bunch of people mating. Like monsters mating. But other than that, it's a very fucking easy book to read because it feels like it's written by a teenager. But even though it still feels like it's written by a teenager, you can still follow along fairly easy. Yeah. There's no thinking for this book at all. Like, you could read this while you're doing 80 other different things and still go along with what's going on. I feel like the ending was too, what the fuck, like, stupid. I hated the ending, so we'll talk about that in spoilers. I can't really give that away too much. The spice, I gave it a 3, but not because it's good spice, but because when they do have spice, they have spice. And, like, I would say the last half of the book is all spice. Yeah. So, if the book is only 250 pages, and about, 125 of that is spice, I guess that's why I'm giving it a 3. But it's super vanilla. Like, nothing really happens with their sex life, other than that he's a monster, so he's rock hard all the fucking time. Yeah. And I think it was very similar in this case, where he didn't have a penis.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that.
Like, it was, like, he's glamored. Yeah. So, like...
But he was, like, smooth there.
Yeah.
Until he needed it.
Because she even said, she's like, where's your penis?
Yeah. Yeah, she did say that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how the penis situation happens, but it does.
He was like, well, I don't need it right now, so it's not...
Yeah,
and I was like, do you... like, snap it in place? Like, what is...
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not understanding that.
And they never explained it.
No.
So I don't really know how his penis works.
Also, the tail is, like, the sneaky side tail thing is a thing that really happens, so...
It is, yeah. It's a sneaky little tail.
Yeah, but those are my numbers.
I agree with Kristen's rating. Well, I agree with the reason she rated the book. Like, all of the negatives. I'll add my check to those. I will say, though, we were way more nobler in your rating than I was, because I fucking hated this book, and I gave it a 1 only because I have to give it something. Honestly, I would give this book a 0. All I wrote in my notes is hate. Point blank, period. Hate. The writing was abysmal. That was the worst part about this for me. It's like, it's not even, that's the problem with this book, and as a whole for me, is that I didn't care. Like, you couldn't build up a scenario for me. You couldn't paint a world for me because the writing was horrible. It felt like what I would imagine fan fiction would read like, but somehow my fan fictions are way better than this, writing-wise. So, to me, that really just killed this entire book. And that goes to everything. The dialogue was absolutely horrible. There were, like, no real descriptions of things. No. It was just, like, things were just stated. This happened, and I walked here, and I did this. It was like, there was no poetasy. I don't even know if that's a word. But there was no, like, flowery word. Not even a little bit. I don't know.
No, there wasn't.
And how do you build and create this world for me without any of that? It just doesn't work. But like Kristen said, there are some interesting side details. Like, I like this idea of her just living with a bunch of monsters. That's so cool. This wall goes down and now everyone's adjusting to living life with these monsters they didn't know existed 4 years ago. That's such a cool idea. I also like the idea of these gargoyles. Like, there was always 4 of them because they have to guard the 4 points. Like, that was such a smart way to make them more palpable or like more interesting.
And they still stayed as a security guard.
And they still stayed as security guards. Like, I like this, that you really stay true to a gargoyle in the sense that people recognize them as. Like, that was really cool. And then they have this like demon that they brought in because they were also cursed for centuries under the same wizard. It was so cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened with everything else. But
agreed.
Like you were saying, everything was so vanilla. Like, he's boring. He checks every box of like the
possessive,
overbearing, got it, rich, got it, take care of her, got it. Like, let me fix all your business woes and let me swoop in and save your life. And like, they're just so typical, and I didn't like it because there was no real substance to back it up. It was just the author liked these things and just wanted to write about these things without creating a universe to like or anything else to like hold this up. It was just, this is it. So I didn't really like that. And also the timeline for things was way fast. Like, in the very beginning, I don't know if this is much of a spoiler, but I'm gonna say it anyway. In the beginning, they're hand feeding each other, and I was like, y'all just met like 5 minutes ago, and you're like hand feeding tartlets to one another
at somebody else's wedding.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's something else wrong with that I don't want to say in the spoilers. I don't want to say right now, but there's something else really stupid about that whole thing that I just did not understand.
Yeah, so the timeline is just off the charts because, like, I think that was fast. And, you know, there's one thing, you know, I know, like, people go out and have their one-night stands and they, like, screw right away. That's fine.
Yeah.
But there was something weird about this because it felt like that, but it was way more intimate. It's like they were, like, verge of I love you. Mm-hmm. And then when you get to what the actual timeline is at the very end of the book, it just made me mad because it felt fast, but I'm like, maybe we're glazing over days. But no. Like, every day you're reading about them is a day that actually passes, and then you find out how short of a time they've been together, and then what happens at the end, you're like, oh my god.
This is too much.
This is too much.
Too much, too fast. If she were my friend, I would smash her up against the head.
Oh my god.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. Like, I hated it. And that's probably more of a problem. I mean, it is a problem. That is the problem. But also, like, I hate it with a passion because I'm a slow burn girly. And so the fact that you're just giving me everything, you're like force feeding it in my mouth.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
I hated it too. And I am not a slow burn person.
Yeah.
Like, I want it, like, come on. There's already attraction there. Let's get it on. Let's do it. And I'm like, okay, I don't even fucking like this. It's not even like, it's not like they just have sex, like the one time fling. It's not even that. Like you said, it's already like they've been in a relationship for fucking ever.
Yes.
I'm like, why? No, that's not what I mean by I don't want slow burn.
If they were just fucking, I would have probably been okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Like a one night stand, and then they're just like, they don't see each other for a little bit, and then they meet each other. Like,
anything.
I would have been fine with that, but this is like, oh, we love each other already. Like, how are you doing this? You just met.
Literally.
That's the vibe they give you.
That is the vibe.
Yeah, I hated it.
Yeah, so that was just not for me. So yeah, overall. And my final point to this is the reason that I'm rating it so harshly is because in my personal opinion, even though I've not read one, I don't believe that monster stories have to be bad. Like, there's no reason you couldn't have written a well thought out story. Like, yeah, there was plot here, but there's no reason this book couldn't be 400 pages. Mm-hmm. There's no reason you can't write a monster book that has actual plot, that has actual build up. Mm-hmm. I mean,
you don't have to write 255. You could do a little bit more.
You could do a story. Give me a story. Yeah. But this was rushed all the way. Every part of this was just rushed. And there's no reason why it has to be bad. And so for that, I'm sticking to a fucking miserable, really 0. But I'm going to give it a 1.
Yeah, mine is actually more so a 1 than it is a 2. But I gave it that extra 1 just so I wasn't, like, too harsh.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no.
Christian's far more generous.
To be fair, I really think it shouldn't even have been a 2.
Oh my god, it's so bad. It's horrible. I would not recommend this.
No, I wouldn't either.
And just to slam home the point again, also if I'm reading a monster romance, like I'm expecting a lot more kink. I'm expecting a lot more like monster, possessive.
You're
no.
fucking a monster. Why wouldn't he be out of this world weird or different or kinkier? Like, why are we going so vanilla with this?
Like
he's an average man.
These books that are just humans or fae. Well, like,
and even they were more kinky.
They're way more kinky. They got better or worse bedroom talk. Like, I don't. Ask me to pick a sex scene out of here, and I can't even remember it because that's how boring it was.
Oh, I don't remember.
I remember the one because I was grossed out.
Yeah, that's me too.
But I don't remember any of the other ones.
Yeah, I don't remember any of them. I don't.
But yeah, so a resounding horrible for both of us.
That leaves me with, why the fuck did anybody think this book was good?
Yeah, because good. I need to calm down. Good reviews says good books. What am I trying to say? Goodreads. Thank you. Goodreads gave it a 3.97. I'm so flabbergasted at this that I can't even talk about it. That's
pretty bad. You're pretty mad.
Out of 3,550 ratings, you guys gave it a 3.97. That's a 4.
That's not even close to what we rated it at all.
I'm just blown away.
Yeah, I don't understand. Somebody must really love shitty fucking monster romance books.
Well, I got them this time, so we can peek into their head a little bit. So the first one is Susan, and she says, "I love this paranormal romance, and I could see how Grayson is easy to fall for. This book is steamy, fun, and addictive. A great and fun read. I received a free copy of this book and am voluntarily leaving a review." I don't know why I think that's funny, but it is a little bit funny.
Well,
Sorry,
I have to say, she must really like easy-going contemporary romances for the most part then.
Steamy?
Because I don't think it's
addictive.
I don't think it's steamy. I don't think it's fun, and it's definitely not addictive.
No, this was a book that should have taken me maybe a day and a half to read. It took me all fucking week to get to this.
Because you were just so sick of it.
I hated it. I hated it.
I hurried up and read it because I wanted to be done with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I should have done, but instead I procrastinate because I don't want to be in the world at all.
Yeah.
Okay, Sydney M. Neblet says, "This book is absolutely fantastic series starter. The characters were phenomenal, and I love how interconnected they ended up being. Secrets were revealed, bad guys were fought, friends were made, and love was found in just a few short hours. Amazing."
She's right about that.
She is right about that, literally. Amazing. Life is changing quickly for this ragtag group, and I was so happy to get to read all about it. I can't wait to see what happens next. The author dropped all these little hints of the future of this blended family, whetting my interest. I hope we don't have to wait long for book 2.
Okay, I have to say, her review was already well written, more so than the actual book. And she's using words that the author probably doesn't even know. So,
yeah,
good for her for liking these books. But she really, really should probably, I kind of am interested in what other books she likes.
Ooh.
Because a 5-star book review for this, girl.
I can see under her name she's reviewed
quite a few books.
2,600
So
books.
it's like, girl, you are well established in reading. So what are you reading that you're rating these as 5 stars? I'm very, very interested to find out what else she's reading.
Yeah, I am.
That's what I feel like about most of these people who rate 5
for these
5-star
types of books.
Yeah, it's like, are you just being silly? Like how you would rate Unhinged?
Yes.
Are you going, okay, this is what it is, I'm giving it a 5-star because that's what this is. But to say it's good, I don't know, guys. I'm very confused.
And she broke it down too. Secrets were revealed.
I don't even think secrets were revealed. I feel like it was so easily
bad guys
obvious.
were fought, Kristen.
Bad guys are always fought. But even still, those bad guys, even the fighting of the bad guys didn't feel like it was all that eventful.
No, it wasn't. It was not.
Girl.
And friends were made, sure, but friends, like you said, friends are always made.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
The ragtag group thing, I don't even think they were ragtag. There was 3 gargoyles, 1 demon.
And 1 other girl, and then this random witch who just became everybody's BFF. The 3 girls just became BFFs.
Everything happened so quickly. She was right about that. It was really
within
a matter of hours. She was right.
Yeah. For real life. That was a matter of hours.
I don't know.
And then our final one from Marlena Fisher says, this book is well written,
No.
witty, sweet and spicy paranormal romance. It had just the right amount of suspense and the action was not too slow or too fast paced.
What?
Enough new information at all the right moments to keep your interest going.
Disagree.
I stayed up half the night to read it and I don't regret it at
Half
all.
the night? That book should not have taken you that long to read.
Okay, the well written and witty already it's a no. Sweet and spicy, it wasn't really I guess if you're not reading a lot of these, maybe it's
Yeah, I
spicy.
was gonna say, if this is not your thing, I could see how you'd be like, oh wow, this is the tale. Like, oh gosh.
In everybody's vicinity, like
Yeah.
I could see. But to say that this was well written and witty
it's not.
is a no.
What do you mean not fast paced? It's pretty fucking fast.
It's super fast. It wasn't fast or slow. It was just the right tempo. No. I felt that it was way too fast.
I felt like I was doing the fucking swing dancing in the middle of like, I don't know, like they're like, hurry up, you gotta do this swing dance super fucking quick. I'm like, just get thrown into the fucking. This is ridiculous.
Okay, now you're on the stage for the big event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're being judged right now. Like, I just got here.
I just got here. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
I disagree.
I need to see what other books you're
I'm
reading.
glad that there's people out there though that really enjoy it, because if you, it's like a tolerance level when you drink alcohol, you know, like you get one shot and then you're tipsy. You're a cheap drunk.
Yes.
You know, good for you, because I would love to be able to drink one drink and have that feeling. Like, so you must be reading some books and like being happy all of the time.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine like every book you read is like a 5-star?
Yeah.
And it's because of your preference. If I could go about my life reading every book and be like, oh, this is 5-star. 5-star here, 5-star here.
Right.
I think I would never stop reading.
And a book that's so small too. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is a short, sweet story. It's perfect.
Exactly. So if you feel like that's where your 5-star rating level is, oh, you are probably floored by half the books that are out there.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine? I think if I were these type of people where like like this Rock Hard Gargoyle is like a 5-star, I'd be reading things like Akatar. My mind would be blown.
Oh my god.
I think my life would be everlasting change. Like, you know? And I think that's what ends up happening with a lot of readers.
I think so. I hope so. I hope that you guys.
That's great. I want to be a cheap drunk too.
I do. I hope that you're living your best life reading these books.
Yeah.
That they're making you super happy.
And that's not an insult at all. That's a compliment.
It is a
I
compliment.
would love to just enjoy a shitty book.
Same.
Because I couldn't enjoy this.
Because instead it makes me mad.
Yeah,
Instead I'm angry.
Yes, I would rather be like, this is some good junk food. No, instead I'm like, fuck this fucking book, you know?
This is the junk food from the
Yeah.
dollar store that's 2 years expired. I'm like, what is this shit?
Yeah.
I'm starving.
And now I gotta go and spend more money
Yeah.
to get the taste out my mouth.
And the worst part is, and I think what makes it even worse is that, I mean, like, since the beginning of this season has been, like, I'm so deprived.
I am!
I had an Hour of Gone, which was like, okay, but that still wasn't, it still
No,
didn't
it's not our book.
scratch the itch
No.
that I need scratching, okay? It didn't do it, and now I'm getting these, and I'm like, what the fuck am I reading?
That's why I had to take a break, and I had to read a side book. So I'm reading Rhapsodic right now, the Bargainer series, and I'm loving it. But I think it's because of this. But I do love her books as a whole.
Yeah.
So she's also the one who did the Four Horsemen.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
okay.
Bespell books and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So like, yeah, but because of this, Crystal, you do this to me every beginning of every
I do.
year, and I just like I'm suffering.
And I'm suffering, and I have nobody to blame but my fucking self. At
That's-
least you can blame me. You'd be like, she's dragging me out of this. I'm just sitting here in my own filth, like, yeah, I fucking did this. I don't have any good books because of me. Because I'm trying to do fun stuff.
Well, maybe if you felt a little bit more like Marlena, Sydney, and Susan, we wouldn't be sitting here mad. We'd be sitting here happy.
Maybe I need to. Maybe my problem is I need more monster books in my life.
Where these books are rated a 5-star?
Yeah.
That's sad. I don't know if I want to read worse ones than this.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, because this was pretty high rated. Could you imagine these same people who are rating the bad versions of this?
That's why I kind of want to see what they're rating.
Yeah.
Like, if these are your 5-star reads, what are your 1-star reads?
Well, we should come back. We should come back to them since this
Yeah.
will be a tradition.
Yeah.
We should see what their 1 stars are and read those.
I think that would be great.
I'm a glutton for punishment, apparently.
I can imagine. The One Star's probably like the best books ever. And they're probably like, what's wrong with these girls? And we're like, what is wrong with these girls?
Yeah. I mean, all that goes to show is there something out there for everybody.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks.
Exactly. Literally, I guess.
Well,
right.
on to our favorite parts.
Our
spoilers.
I
love this part. I love our spoilers.
I literally have nothing.
I could give you all of them because I wrote a bunch.
I see that.
The best parts are no parts. Yay!
100% accurate.
I have no best parts. I have not so good parts that I'd like to discuss. Okay,
Please.
like where should we go first? Okay, timeline. Too fast. Too fast.
100%.
It was like speed walking in the Olympics and finding out that everybody else is running next to you. You're like, why is everybody going so fast? Like, what am I going the wrong speed? Like, too fast. And what I mean by fast, I mean hand feeding each other at a wedding.
Minutes of meeting each other.
And, okay, also, why is the fucking journalist taking pictures of them?
Yeah, that was weird.
They're at a wedding with a dragon and a bride.
The wedding of the season.
Why are we taking pictures of the random bodyguard and some girl in a hoodie?
Hand feeding each other.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Because, like, even if they didn't, like, okay, so the journalist was in there trying to get in there, by the way. So much so that they want to take pictures of the dragon and the bride. Why would they take a picture of this random couple at the bar? They don't know that this is the dressmaker. They don't know that.
Yeah, and she's just some, like, hobo in the corner because of how she's dressed.
So
like,
I don't understand.
Yeah,
that makes no sense. I was super pissed off about that. Because now that's the focal point of why she's being targeted.
Yes.
So dumb. So, like, everything's happening in, what, less than a fucking month? 2 weeks?
A week.
It's so fucking dumb. So dumb. And then at the very end of the book, so I'm just going to go straight to that. The very end of the book, like, she's in love with him, and they're moving in, and...
They got married.
They're engaged.
They're engaged, yeah.
Like,
they're
what?
Engaged. Yeah.
What?
And that's when they confirmed, too, that the timeline has been a week.
I was so mad.
I was also very mad. I was like, wait, what? You just said a week? And then later she says that. She's like, it's been a week. And he's like, yeah, but why wait? Because you're my mate.
Yeah.
Which I also fucking hate.
He was super possessive, too, right off the bat. Like, I get this is possessive monsters, but right off the fucking bat, immediately.
Yeah. And I hated
First meet.
the little confusion or what is that trope? The, like, mixed messages or whatever. Miscommunication where she's like, oh, he's just grumpy because he has me a sign. And she thought that for, like, a fourth of the book.
I hated
it.
Hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it. Well, I mean... She delivered the monster part. She delivered the possessive monster part, and she delivered the so-called spice. It was so tame. Like, to get more into it, it was tame and disgusting. First, it was tame because the tail was just a vibrator to me.
Yeah.
Like, so what? They added extra toy to the mix because it vibrated. The tail vibrated. Also, it's disgusting. Why are we not really fucking, but why are we using each other in like a sexual manner and doing all this stuff near family and friends?
Yeah.
Like you said, what are we, teenagers? Where everybody's like having because they weren't the only one.
They were not the only one.
There was another couple that were like getting their kink on too. I'm like,
and they're
why?
all sitting around watching a movie. Like they're each in their own chairs watching a movie, and then they're fooling around. Again, it just like gave teenager vibes.
Yeah, it was super fucking vanilla. I just felt like I was bored to death watching this couple get it together.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely fucking hated it.
Because, like, what else did they do? I mean, literally the only thing was the tail that was out of the ordinary, but
it was so vanilla.
But again, it was done while they were laying down, and it was like, it was a sneaky tail situation. Yeah. He just snuck it up in there. It's like, okay, where's the monster in him?
Yeah.
I'm literally just getting a tail.
And,
okay.
like, the whole penis situation, still don't understand. I kind of mentioned it before this, but, like, she goes, you got no penis, or you got no cock, or whatever she says. And then, like, he's like, I don't need it right now, so I'll put it away. And then, like, what do? Is it, like, an attachment, like the fucking Mr. Potato Head? Like,
I thought it was going to be, like, Miorex, but then they never explained it. Cause, like, maybe it just, like, slides out.
I don't fucking understand it. It was just absurd. I didn't fucking like it whatsoever. But that's really all that I have about it, because it's a 250-page book of just fast-paced them getting together and him being possessive over her.
and it was super cliche in every aspect. Like, does she have powers or not? Oh my god, she has powers. Her parents or her grandma is a long lost witch or have long lost witch powers. Or it was just so stupid, all of it.
Yeah, I was bored to death. I was bored.
Same.
I tried rushing through that as quick as possible to be done.
Every part of this was horrible. Oh, and the like, I'm gonna come save your business, and we're gonna.
Oh fuck that.
Oh, and the boyfriend the ex-boyfriend who comes up, who straight up beat her
in front of everybody.
Yo, I was like, oh, he's more than just like he like grabbed her hair and punched her or something. I don't know. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was absurd. And the gym bro buddy that she had, the neighbor guy, like was protecting her, and then Grayson comes in and tries to be protective of her with him there. It's like. Oh my god, knock it off. I'm so disgusted by this whole fucking book.
Yeah, and the cliches and stereotypes that you're just throwing in there. It's like, again, it feels like the author has these certain things that she likes in books, which are the cliche of every book, and instead of making them or rehashing them in a way that feels unique to the reader, it's just the blueprint. Because, and I think we've said this before, there's a lot of books that follow these same patterns, but they are somehow redone in a way that feels unique to the book.
Yeah, the copy paste of the trope.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very... And I'm fine with that. I don't even... Like I said, I don't even rate or be too judgy when books do that. It's like, okay, I get it. That's the trope. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to pander to your audience when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm not hating on that. What I hate on it is that it... Like you said, she wanted a specific trope, didn't care if it fit in with it or not, and then just threw it in.
And you did the bare minimum to achieve that trope.
Yeah.
The most cliche thing that you could do to achieve that trope is how we got there. And it's horrible. I don't want any part of that.
Yep, I'm so done. I'm so glad that this book is over with.
Me too.
When I was done with this book, I had to take a moment. And when I say take a moment, I took like an hour because I had to jump into the next book. And I was just like, I'm not ready for the next book even. So
yeah, that's how I felt. I think I finished this at 4 a.m. this morning. I woke up for some whatever reason.
Yeah.
I was like, oh fuck, I still have to finish that book because I still have the other one to read before our show. And so I laid there and just power read through it. And
yeah, I power read it last night because I started it yesterday and I read it all last night.
And the worst part is that I was reading it all week.
Yeah.
It was just so bad. I was falling asleep. Yeah. Anyways, it's, all around, no. And then, like Kristen said, it's so small that that's literally it. That's the hated. There are no best parts.
No, there is none. I have none.
But yeah, so it's a great start. Well, it's not a start. This is
our second book.
Our second book in our monster series. So, Kristen, we said in the beginning of our poll that I was going to say, why am I trying to say Gatorade? A gargoyle was probably the most that we would say yes to.
No.
So how do you feel now?
No.
Not this one.
No.
That's for sure.
Not this one. I super bored with him. I don't understand the cock situation. Mm-hmm. The tail was just, it was vanilla. Mm-hmm. And if I'm going to throw my hat into Team Monster, I kind of want more than just a vanilla rendezvous.
Yeah, because why then wouldn't I just be with a human?
Yeah.
What else you got? You got some wings.
He's rich.
You're tall. Yeah, but there's rich and tall humans.
Yeah, maybe not in this world.
Maybe not in this world.
I don't know. I was bored.
Yeah, I was also bored. Yawning through your sex scenes is probably not a good indication of your guys' species. So I'm gonna say a hard no here. If I were her, I would not be into it.
Nope, I do not recommend. But...
Nope. So pass for them. So far what we have on the board is yes to Alien, right? We said if we were Amber.
If I were Amber and I had no other option, I knew I was stuck on that planet, and he was the only option I had
in this alien world.
Yeah,
she would. Oh yes. Yours was yes with exceptions.
Yeah, like major exceptions. Like, hey, I'm not going to get anything with anybody else. There's no other human male ever around, and this is the option I have, and he's a cool dude.
Well, okay, what if there were the humans that...
Not those humans. They need to die.
Okay.
I would have murdered them.
So yes, if you were stuck with a certain amount of humans.
Yeah. Like, if the circumstance with that, it had to happen in that particular way for me to be like, okay, yeah, Mirak, I guess I fuck him. But, it wouldn't be something I would even actively think about. If I were there, I don't think that would come to my mind. Like, oh, can I fuck this dude? It would not.
If you were flirting.
I think I would flirt with anything though.
You wouldn't flirt with anything if he was bringing it to you.
I would flirt with them even regardless, but I wouldn't think like, could I really fuck him though? Like I don't think, because flirting is a whole different story. You can flirt with ugly people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And still be like, I would never fuck him.
Mm.
But like,
I was on team Mirak, so it's a yes for me in the alien monster world. It's a no for me in this one, though I'm sorely disappointed because it should have been a yes.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely a no. Problem is that it's not no because I wouldn't had fucked him if he was saying the right things or doing the right things or any of that. That's not the problem with this. The problem why I say no with this is because he's boring.
He is boring.
I'm not interested in him at all.
No, not even a little bit.
No, so it's him particularly. I would not have.
He was not a good representation of his gargoyle.
No, I was bored.
Right, or not, I guess, species.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, anyways. Yes, kind of, and yes, and no.
Yeah.
To put it on our board, officially.
Yeah.
So next week, we are continuing our theme with Minotaur?
Milking, Morning Glory Milking Farm.
Yes.
It's a Minotaur monster romance.
Which we adamantly said no to because it felt too much like a beast.
Yeah, there's no way, shape, or form. I don't give a fuck what you're putting out there, what kind of one-liners you're throwing out there, what kind of you're working with. You know, I'm not into it at all.
Yeah, it is too bestiality feeling. So yeah, I mean, you would have to do a lot. I don't even know that you could overcome it, but to even be considered, it would have to be a lot. So we'll see then. This one got a lot of good reviews. I was seeing it all over TikTok and Instagram. People were like, this is such a sweetheart book. So of course we had to put it on our list to see what all of the hubbub was about. So that will be coming here your way next week.
Yes, so if you want to follow along with us and continue this torture with us, like and subscribe so you can find out what we're up to next.
Yep, until next time, we will see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.